All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling the Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, a classic. Everyone loves this one.
And you wanted to know what makes it so popular. So let's find out. We've got a detailed plot summary to guide us.
Awesome. Sounds like we're in for a treat.
We'll dig into the characters, the themes, those iconic moments.
Great. Let's get started.
So picture this. 1947, Andy Dufresne, this successful banker.
Okay.
He gets convicted of a double murder.
Double murder. Wow.
Yeah, his wife and her lover.
And he says he's innocent.
Claims he is, but there's this.
That's what?
Like a quiet intensity about him. Makes you wonder.
Interesting.
Now, Shawshank Prison, man, it's brutal.
Oh, I bet. Not exactly a walk in the park.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like the embodiment of harsh and unforgiving.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then we meet Red.
Red.
Yeah, he's our narrator.
Okay.
And he's the guy on the inside who can get you, well, anything.
Sounds like a valuable friend to have in there.
Definitely. He's seen it all, you know. His voice sets the whole tone. Cynical, but with a touch of, I don't know, hope, maybe.
It's interesting how they can do that with the narrator. Just set the whole mood.
Oh, totally. Like we see everything through Red's eyes.
Makes you really connect with the story.
And at first, he's like super jaded, the typical long-timer inmate.
Oh,
Right?
it makes sense. Been there forever.
Exactly. But then Andy shows up.
Andy, our banker.
Yeah, and everything changes.
How so?
It's like Andy brings this spark of hope into this dark place.
Oh, I see. A clash of perspectives.
Right. You see it when the new prisoners arrive.
Including Andy.
Yep. Red and his buddies are making bets on who's going to break down first.
Oh, wow. That's dark.
Super dark. But it shows how dehumanizing prison can be.
Yeah, I get it.
But Andy,
Wow.
he's different.
For how?
He's quiet, but strong, you know, resilient.
Huh. Like he's got this inner strength.
Yeah, exactly. It's a stark contrast to all the fear and violence around him.
Makes you wonder where he gets it from.
And then there's Fat Ass.
Badass.
Yeah, that's the nickname they give this new guy. Poor fella. He totally loses it, can't handle it.
That's sad. Really shows the impact of that kind of environment.
It's brutal. Really sets the stage for Andy's journey, what he's up against.
Okay, so what happens next?
So about a month in, Andy goes to Red with a, well, request.
A request. For what?
He wants a rock hammer.
A rock hammer. What's he going to do with that in prison?
Right. Red's suspicious, thinks maybe Andy's planning to, you know, escape. But it seems impossible.
Yeah, with a rock hammer.
Exactly. And when Red finally sees it, this tiny little thing.
You must have laughed.
Oh, he does. But that little hammer, it becomes like a symbol.
A symbol of what?
Hope. Andy's refusal to give up, even in that place.
I like that. Hope is a tool.
It's powerful,
Yeah.
right? But it's not easy for Andy.
Oh, I'm sure not. What happened?
He's constantly under threat, especially from the sisters.
They were the sisters.
This gang of, well, they're violent inmates.
Oh, I see. The troublemakers.
Big time. But Andy, he finds ways to fight back. Not with violence, but with his smarts.
His smarts. How so?
There's this one scene on the roof.
Okay.
Andy overhears a guard, Hadley, complaining about taxes.
Taxes. Everyone hates taxes.
Right. Hadley's inherited some money but doesn't want to lose half of it to the government.
I can relate.
And Andy, he sees an opportunity.
To help out with taxes.
Exactly. He uses his financial knowledge to strike a deal.
Wow. Pretty clever.
And what does he get in return? Cold beers for all the guys on the roof.
Now that's a good reward.
Right. It shows Andy's humanity, even in that place.
He could have just kept that knowledge to himself.
Totally. But he wants to share it, create a moment of joy.
I like that. Sharing a little bit of hope.
Yeah. And speaking of hope,
Well.
we got to talk about that Rita Hayworth poster.
Oh, yeah. The iconic poster.
At first, it seems like a simple request, you know?
Hmm.
Make his cell feel a little less prison-like.
Makes sense. A little bit of beauty.
But then it becomes clear that poster is hiding something.
Hiding what?
Andy's secret tunnel.
A tunnel? No way.
Yes way. It's incredible. Testament to his patience, his planning.
Wow. Using the poster as a cover. So smart.
And it's such a great visual, right? This image of beauty and freedom masking this desperate act of defiance.
I see it. That duality. It's like the whole movie is playing with that hope and despair, freedom and confinement.
Exactly. And it keeps you hooked, wondering what's going to happen next.
And that poster, it represents Andy's inner world, you know? The part of him that prison can't touch.
That's a great way to put it. And it also shows the power of art. Even in a place like Shawshank, beauty can exist.
It's powerful stuff, that's for sure.
And that's just the beginning. We haven't even gotten to the music, the friendships, the warden.
The warden. Don't tell me he's a good guy.
Oh, he's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for next time.
Sounds like there's a lot more to uncover.
Oh, definitely. Stick with us, there's so much more to explore in the Shawshank Redemption.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into the Shawshank Redemption.
Back at it. And last time we were talking about all these layers of meaning.
Right, the duality of hope and despair.
Exactly. And all the symbolism.
So much going on beneath the surface.
Totally. And there's one scene we have to talk about.
Okay, which one?
The one where Andy plays Mozart.
Oh, yeah, over the prison PA system.
That scene, man, it gets me every time.
Such a powerful moment.
It's like this incredible act of defiance.
Right in the middle of all that darkness.
And the music, it just transforms the whole atmosphere.
Everyone's captivated, even the toughest inmates.
Like for a few minutes, they're not in prison anymore.
They're experiencing beauty, transcendence.
And Andy, the look on his face, pure joy.
He knows he's risking punishment.
But he doesn't care.
It's like he's reclaiming a piece of his freedom.
And the contrast with Warden Norton, so good.
Norton's furious, of course.
He represents that rigid, controlling system.
And Andy's challenging it head on.
Such a small act, but so powerful.
It shows that resistance is possible, even in the darkest places.
Speaking of hope, let's talk about Tommy.
Tommy, the young guy.
Yeah, he brings this new energy to Shawshank.
Kind of like a breath of fresh air.
Totally. Both Andy and Red are drawn to him.
He's got this useful optimism, right?
Yeah, and he brings crucial information.
About Andy's case.
He tells this story about a former cellmate bragging about committing murders.
Murders that sound a lot like the ones Andy was convicted of.
Exactly. It rekindles this hope that Andy might actually prove his innocence.
So, there's a chance for justice after all.
It seems like it, for a while.
What happens?
Andy goes to Norton with this new evidence.
He thinks Norton will help him.
He believes in the system, that the truth will set him free.
Oh, Andy, he's so naive.
But Norton, he's not interested in justice.
He's got his own agenda, right?
He's corrupt, using the inmates for cheap labor, skimming money.
And Andy's freedom would expose all of that.
Exactly. So Norton makes a choice.
A dark choice.
He silences Tommy, has him killed.
Wow, just to protect himself.
It's a crushing blow for Andy.
I bet all that hope just shattered.
But it's also a turning point. It pushes Andy to finally escape.
He puts his plan into action.
And what an escape it is. Years of planning, that tiny rock hammer, the storm, the sewage pipe.
It's incredible. So meticulous, so daring.
And he gets his revenge on Norton, too.
Oh yeah, the financial takedown.
Exposes all of Norton's dirty dealings.
So satisfying. Justice served, in a way.
But the story isn't over yet.
We still have Red.
And his journey is just as important.
In what way?
It shows the lasting impact of Andy's hope.
You see it in Red's parole hearings.
At first, he's resigned to his fate, like Brooks.
Institutionalized, unable to adapt to the outside world.
But then, something shifts within him.
He starts to believe in the possibility of a different life.
You hear it in his words, the way he talks about hope.
It's like Andy planted a seed in his mind.
And that seed grows, slowly but surely.
And it leads to one of the most iconic endings in cinema history.
The reunion on the beach in Zihuatanejo.
Gives me chills every time I think about it.
After all they've been through, they find each other again.
It's a testament to their friendship, to the power of hope.
And it's just so visually stunning, that wide open beach, the blue water.
Perfect ending to a film about hope and redemption.
But let's not forget about the performances.
Oh, yeah, the actors are incredible.
Tim Robbins is Andy, he's perfect.
He conveys that quiet strength so well.
And those subtle moments of defiance, amazing.
And Morgan Freeman as Red, his narration is the heart of the film.
His voice, man, so warm and wise. You just believe everything he says.
He captures Red's transformation so beautifully.
From cynicism to hope, it's just masterful.
And their chemistry together, so believable.
Their friendship is what makes the whole story work.
And we can't forget about Frank Darabont,
the director.
Yeah, his adaptation of Stephen King's novella is brilliant.
He creates this immersive world. You're right there in Shawshank.
His pacing is perfect, knows when to build suspense, when to let a moment breathe.
And the way he uses light and shadow, it's so atmospheric.
And the cinematography by Roger Deakins, stunning.
Those sweeping shots of the prison, the close-ups on the characters' faces.
It's all so beautifully composed.
And the music, Thomas Newman's score, is just perfect.
That main theme, it's iconic, gives you chills every time.
It captures the film's emotional core perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like every element of this film works together to create this powerful, moving experience.
You're right. The acting, the directing, the music, it all comes together seamlessly.
And it's not just a feel-good movie. It makes you think, too.
About the justice system, about institutionalization.
And about the human spirit, its capacity for resilience.
The Shawshank Redemption is a film that stays with you.
But it hasn't escaped criticism.
Right, some viewers feel it could have done more to address issues of race,
They point out that the main story focuses on a white man's experience.
and that the film could have explored the experiences of Black inmates more deeply.
It's a valid point, for sure.
It highlights the importance of diverse perspectives in storytelling.
But the film's positive impact is undeniable
It sparked conversations about prison reform,
and inspired countless people with its message of hope.
and its legacy in pop culture is undeniable.
People quote lines from it all the time.
It's referenced in countless other movies and TV shows.
It's become a part of our collective consciousness, from box office disappointment to cultural phenomenon.
Amazing how that happens.
It just goes to show the power of great storytelling.
Relatable themes, unforgettable performances.
The Shawshank Redemption connects with people on a deep level.
And that's why we're still talking about it decades later.
Okay, we've covered a lot, but there's one more thing we got to discuss.
What's that?
The film's impact on pop culture. Why it's become such a phenomenon.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
We'll be right back to dive into that after a quick break. And we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive into The Shawshank Redemption.
So we talk about the story, the filmmaking, those incredible performances.
But what makes this movie a pop culture phenomenon?
It really is something, huh? It wasn't a blockbuster at first, but it's become this, I don't know.
Like a cultural touchstone?
Yeah, exactly. People quote it all the time. It's referenced everywhere.
And it always tops those best movie lists.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's those universal themes, hope, friendship, resilience.
Absolutely. Everyone can connect with those.
And then there's that whole prison escape thing. It's just inherently gripping, right?
Oh yeah, the idea of outsmarting the system, getting that freedom.
But Shawshank is more than just an escape story. It's about that internal transformation.
Right. Andy never gives up. And Red, he learns to believe again.
That ending, man, it's just so hopeful.
Andy and Red on that beach in Zihuatanejo, it's iconic.
It's like a visual representation of their journey, a new beginning.
And it stays with you, People want to revisit that feeling.
That sense of hope, of triumph over adversity.
The dialogue, so memorable. Get busy living or get busy dying.
Classic. People use that quote all the time.
It's a reminder to never give up on your dreams, no matter what.
And the film has had this impact on how we think about the justice system.
Things you question things, right? Institutionalization, rehabilitation.
It's not a documentary, but it sparks conversations about prison reform.
And about human connection, empathy, even in those tough environments.
The Shawshank Redemption, it's touched so many lives.
It's a powerful reminder that hope can exist anywhere.
And that friendship can help us through the darkest times.
It's a story about the strength of the human spirit.
And that's what makes it so enduring, I think.
People will be watching this movie for years to come.
Absolutely. And that wraps up our deep dive into The Shawshank Redemption.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Hope you enjoyed exploring this amazing film with us.
And if you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into classic movies.
We'll see you next time.